Hi, welcome back. There are many ways software activities are organized to create the software. Each one of them is called software development model. Software models vary according to its objective, discipline, interest, time to market, documentation, and many other factors. A most appropriate software development model must be selected and applied for each software project. In the previous section, we learned what is testing, why is testing, and who is doing the testing. In this section, we will talk about how the testing is incorporated as part of the software development activities in different software development models. We will also discuss the different levels and types of testing, and finally, we will discuss maintenance testing. Before we go on, we will explain quickly the oldest and one of the very well-known development models known as the waterfall. The waterfall model is not part of the ISTQB curriculum, but understanding it will help in understanding many other concepts. As seen in the graph, the waterfall model is a sequential model, where every stage must be completely finished before moving to the following stage. Any software project starts with an idea or needs to be fulfilled by the software. The requirement is collected from the user in what we call the requirement phase. An analyst will analyze the user requirement and put it in a form of the requirement from the computer or system point of view, or in other words, defining the functions required to be carried out by the software to meet user needs, for example, screens, dialog, or user scenarios, and so on. The analyst will store this in a document called the system requirements or system specification or functional specification. For example, the user requirement may be something like, we need an annual report showing the employees' names and salaries. The system requirement will state that the report has to be printed in A4 paper. The logo is in the upper left at position 210 with width 120. The font is Times, the font size is 14, the table header is bold, and so on. Then comes the design phase, which is done in two stages by itself. Global design and detailed design. Global design is concerned with mapping the system requirements to computer modules and how those modules interact with each other. Those modules can reside on a single computer or multi-computers or even different networks. This step is usually done by a designer, an architect, and/or developers. Global design is also called architecture design or high-level design. Detailed design is about detailing what each module should do individually. It's also called low-level design and is done by designers and developers. The following stage is coding. This is where developers convert the detailed design of each module into a piece of software by using one of the many computer programming languages. Finally, testing is carried out once the code has been fully completed to make sure it's ready to ship. Testing happens towards the end of the project life cycle, so defects are detected close to the finish date of the project. With this model, it's difficult to get feedback passed backwards up the waterfall. In a waterfall, you can easily get down, but it's very hard to go against the waterfall. That was the waterfall model. I have seen many companies claim that they use the waterfall model, but after explaining the model to them, they realize that what they are doing is not waterfall at all. Actually, I haven't seen any company using this model anymore. The key point in waterfall is that you need to have a very detailed system requirement before you start the design. Do you have a very detailed system requirement? Do you agree with the client on the size of the font before coding? Do you finish the whole coding before moving to the testing stage? If not, then for sure you are not using the waterfall model. Now, is waterfall a good model? Well, it has its benefits. It might be a good model for very specific circumstances, but generally speaking, it has many drawbacks.